in the business. Anybody talking different as if I could bloody business. I create a divide while I collect my dividends. You heard it all before, so let me show you what's the difference. I'm feeling like Mike Tyson, come from a different cloth, taking music to new levels. You know you ain't the boss, and we just do this for sport. We ain't playing games, we don't take shots, we bury whenever we take aim. And if you think that I'm lying, step into the ring and put the title on the line. Heard your tunes, heavyweight. What you expect? I'm a heavyweight. When the bell rings, you know it's nothing long. Come out the corner, straight swinging bombs. Heard your tunes, heavyweight. What you expect? I'm a heavyweight. When the bell rings, you know it's nothing long. Come out the corner, straight swinging bombs. And you don't wanna fight, beat you so many times with the left, you're begging for a right. From every single angle, you feel like you're surrounded. Look into the corner, praying someone throw a towel in. Move like a butterfly, sing like jeez. Did I just get run over by a HGV? Head-on collision, pound for pound, we're the best in any division. Straight KO, don't go to no decision. You think that I'm lying? Step into the ring and put your title on the line. Heard your tunes, heavyweight. What you expect? I'm a heavyweight. When the bell rings, you know it's nothing long. Come out the corner.
Hello and welcome to the Spartans Boxing Show. I'm Lakey. I'm joined by my trusty co-host, the former professional fighter, Mr. Arv Me Too. 100.
How are you? How are you, Lakey? You okay?
I'm good. And it's an absolute pleasure for us today to be joined by the one and only Mr. Ian Napa, the former British and European Bantamweight champion. Hello, Ian. How are you?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm fine, you know.
Good.
Thanks for joining us. We're just going to pre-warn people. We did have some. We're having a few technical difficulties with Zoom today. It's been a pain in the arse, putting it bluntly, and it keeps knocking us out. So apologies if there's any freezes during this interview, but it's the joys of technology. So, I mean, my first question for you, Ian, is I know we've already asked you this before, and we're going to start again. But obviously, boxing. We were talking about how you you got into boxing originally, and you were saying to us off there, you know, that for you originally, you know, you set out to become a footballer, and you know, so boxing wasn't the first kind of sport that you looked at participating in. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about how that happened? What happened with the football, and how you kind of got into the boxing? Is that all right?
Yeah. I mean, I was a big football fan when I was really young, and football was everything in my life. Then I got a chance to go for trials for Arsenal, and even though I was skillful, I was told I was too small, like, because physically, like, the kids my age at the time were at Arsenal were really big and physically strong. So obviously I had a problem with that. So I went to other teams, Wimbledon, at the trials with QPR. None of it. I kept getting the same answer. I was rather frustrated in the end. So then I thought, you know what, let me try boxing. But not that I was really wanted to try boxing. I more went to the boxing club that done football, Cranham Manor. And I went there and I said, asked them if the football was on. And they said, no, but there's boxing. Then I just thought, oh, okay, let me try this. Then it just went on from then on. Just everything just led on. One thing led to the other. I started finding it. I got addicted to it, to be honest.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, when you think about football and boxing, two totally different sports. I mean, I know you're saying that when you went along for your trials, they said, oh, you know, you're too small, and all the rest of it, the lads at Arsenal were bigger. But you look at that, it's funny how times change, because you look at footballers now, and a lot of them are smaller, aren't they? Because they've got the speed, you know, they can get around those bigger guys. And, you know, I think you can't see me on the video at the minute, but I've got my Brighton.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, you're right about that, because it's funny enough saying that during those times, you had Ian Wright playing for Arsenal.
Yeah. And
they considered him small. And I'm shorter than Ian Wright by at least 4 inches. So I thought, I'm well out of the picture. You know what I mean? Then you had big players like Kevin Campbell, Paul Davis, and those guys were really like big. You know what I mean? If you see them physically, then you're like, you know, I decided to like think about what I'm gonna do with myself. But it wasn't like a thing where I thought of it as a long-term career. Funny enough saying that, I just thought, let me try football. You never know, it might work out. You know what I mean? Because originally I wanted to be just like my granddad who brought me up. I want to be a banker like he was.
Yeah.
That was my main career ambition. That was to be like my granddad and, you know, work in a bank like how he done. and he was, you know, he raised me up. So that was my my main ambition.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. So, I mean, luckily for us, I mean, obviously the football didn't work out, which, you know, is a shame. But for us as boxing fans, and Arv especially, you know, your boxing career did work out. You know, you did really well. I mean, can you tell us a little bit? I mean, obviously you were saying the football didn't work out. You went along, they offered you the boxing, which, as I was trying to say, you know, totally different sport from football. I mean, you know, totally different. So what happened there? So you went into the gym that first time and you just fell in love with it. How did they introduce you to it? Did they get you on the mitts, the punch bags, or did they just throw you straight in? Looks like we've got the technical difficulties again. Looks like we've lost Ian. If we hang on a second, hopefully he'll be back in a second. I mean, just unfortunate. Oh no, it's still away. But yeah, I mean, really interesting from Ian there, isn't it? Talking about boxer. I mean, it's a totally different sport. I mean, it is
totally different sport, and I didn't realize also Ian. It's funny, isn't it? I can't remember him as a boxer. I had no idea about all this. It's just the good thing of interviewing people and finds out more, isn't it?
This is why I love this show, because you know, the fighters on.
Okay.
Back. Oh no, he's gone again. Oh, he's bobbing and weaving, ducking and diving like in the Oh no, I can see him. He's back. There he is. He's back. Hello. We were having a natter while you were trying to sort out your Zoom there, mate. Sorry, we were just saying, you know, this is what we love about this show. I was just saying while you were trying to get back into the Zoom, you know, that you know, we all see you guys, you know, and girls nowadays fighting on Sky Sports and all these different shows, you know, boxing shows, but people don't really get to know the fighters too well, you know, and it's a case of, it's a bit different now because you've got all this social media going on. So, you know, the fighters can lay their day-to-days bare what they're doing, you know, but back in the days when like you and Arv were fighting, you didn't have such a massive the social media.
There was nothing like that then, Ian. If it would have helped if we had things like this when we were fighting. There was nothing like this.
No, social media. To be honest, I'm actually glad that I boxed when there's no social media because it's too much pressure. To be honest, I feel sorry for the youth that are actually boxing in this day and age because you're under so much pressure. Not just
that's true.
Just from any idiot that has never boxed that will just let off the nastiest remarks about another boxer, not knowing nothing about boxing. You know what I mean? So in the day now, it's more pressure on. It's a lot of pressure in this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, I won't mention any names, but there's quite a few boxers on social media, and sometimes we talk about it often, don't we? A lot of them kind of
all the time
line themselves up for a bit of a fall sometimes as well because they're on social media, and I know it's the way it is these days, but they're kind of really shouting off about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. And obviously, like you said, you've got these non-boxing fans that will jump on there and go, oh, you know, you can't box on paper bag or whatever. But in some respects, you kind of sit back and think, well, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself here. You know, sometimes it's better just to be quiet and humble and kind of let your fight and talk for you, I guess. And then when you're up there, like the likes of Floyd Mayweather's and stuff like that.
It's true that.
To be honest, it's become, you know what? It's like, I'll give you an example, like, Floyd Mayweather has actually, in a funny way, ruined boxing in a sense because like everyone's scared to lose now. You know what I mean? It's become like, you see what he does. Don't get me wrong. He's done well for himself, like in the sense of boxing wise. He's put on the smaller divisions up to the thingy. But I always think the guy that mainly done that was Nazim. He set that trend before Mayweather. Because all that razzmatazz, Naz really put that on a thingy. And I actually told him, I met him sometime last year, and I told him, I said, you know what, you inspired me. Because the fact that you're just as small as I am, and I actually seeing you and spending time in Sheffield with him at one stage, it actually inspired me to realize I can do the same if I put my mind to it. You know, but he set the trend, to be honest, because Naz, he done that no British fighters ever done in boxing, especially in America.
And moved up a few weights as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's right.
He did set the blueprint, didn't he, Naz? And I'm sure the likes of Floyd Mayweather, I know it wasn't too long after Naz that Mayweather came around, but I'm sure he, let's be honest, he must have looked at what Naz was doing and thought, I want a bit of that. So he had a lot of fight. And I guess prior to Naz, it was Chris Eubank, wasn't it, that kind of brought along all the razzmatazz and, the extravagant ring.
I mean, Chris Eubank's really don't get me wrong. I've got all his title defenses on VHS. The first time I actually Chris Eubanks when he knocked out Daniel something DeSantis in the first round, and he done that walk that he does. I just fell in love with that overhand right hand and that pose he done in the walk to the camera, and I thought, that's it. I want to box. That was it.
He inspired lots of people. I've never, never boxed to the extent you guys have, but I was saying to Arv, I used to train with a guy called Billy Ed. He used to be a heavyweight over. He had a pub in Eastbourne called the Golden Gloves, and he had a big boxing gym out the back, and this was back in the
right.
I'm old. So
did you say Billy Ed?
Billy Ed.
Remember, did he refer us? Remember, he referred.
Yeah, he referred me before.
Yeah, and me. Yeah, back in the day.
He's a funny man. He's a big guy. I used to spar with his son Billy Ed Jr. and stuff, But I used to go into the gym and say, I want to be like Chris Eubank. They go, no way. Guys are one. He's a standalone, buddy. You're not going to ever be like Chris Eubank, But such a generation, didn't he, Eubank, coming in? And I used to love the arrogance. And obviously, I live in Brighton, so where Eubanks is from. So I remember the days of seeing him driving around in his big truck and his big motorbike along the seafront. But he always had time for everybody. He'd always greet everybody. He loved to be stopped and have a chat. And you'd always see him in the city centre, having selfies done with fans and stuff. He's a hell of a character for sure. But we digress. We need to talk about Ian Napa because that's why.
Yes.
And you were saying, obviously, you went into the gym and you started boxing. And I think, before it got cut off previously, you were going to ask Ian a little bit about his amateur career.
Yeah, amateur career. That's right. I didn't realise you didn't have that many amateur career, but you still achieved a lot in your amateur career, didn't you? You said you had 20. I didn't realise you had 20 odd amateur fights. I thought you had a lot more than that, but you did achieve a lot in them 20 odd amateur fights you had, didn't you?
I think we may have lost Ian again.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give him a minute.
Yeah.
Give him a minute. See if looks like he's back. I can see movement. No, he's gone again. The Zoom. Joys of technology. This is.
Here he is.
Now I can get. I'm getting the actual volume. Yeah, now I can hear you clearly because you sounded very distant.
Okay. Yeah. I was saying, Ian, I was talking about your amateur career. You've done very well in your amateur career because I always presumed you had loads of amateur fights. You didn't have that many amateur fights, but you achieved a lot in the amateur fights you had, didn't you?
Yes, I achieved quite a lot because my dedication in the amateur game was relentless. I'll be honest with you, because I've done 3 years of just literally going there. I trained for a year without even getting fights because I was too light at the time. I wasn't even. There was no weight for me at the time, so I finally got to fight when I was 15. Yeah, and from then it just went off. Funny enough, I lost my first amateur fight. Then I carried on. Then I've only lost to two English fighters as an amateur. That was Carl Johansson and Anthony Joy.
Big banger, Johansson. Other pro.
Yeah. I boxed him in the junior ABAs.
Okay.
Yeah. First guy to give me a black eye.
Yeah, he was a good.
Amazing. He was as a pro. He was a very heavy-handed fighter, wasn't he? Yeah.
Very heavy-handed. He looks quite basic when you look at him box, but not when he's in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good fight with Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that was the end of his career, more or less.
To be quite honest, Ian, I don't know how he came back. Kevin Mitchell after that.
Tough kid. I was there live at the match, man. He's a very tough guy.
Yeah, very. So obviously, you were saying you were too, you struggled to get the fights because you didn't. There wasn't a weight category for you. So when you turned, obviously that made your amateur career a bit of a struggle. I should imagine trying to get the fights. Is that what what was the cause for you kind of turning over to the professional ranks a little bit sooner than maybe a lot of people do? In their amateur careers, a lot of them stick with it and crack on. But if you were struggling, was it a case of let's get you bulked up?
To be honest, there were everyone in my weight, in the amateurs, in my weight division, everyone was at the top.
Yeah.
Everyone was at the top, really. So like, we're coming through, you're gonna have to go through the like, you're gonna go through all the top 10 straight away. So there was not a lot of fighters in that division. So like, I mean, I boxed a guy. I boxed, yeah, I don't know. I think it's from Birmingham or something. Abdul Dud.
Okay.
That name
Yeah,
sounds familiar,
I
actually.
boxed him in the semi-finals of the ABAs. I boxed a few. I mean, Gary Jones from Gary Jones from Liverpool. I boxed him in all. Yeah, I think he was the ABA champion before that.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Mercer, who was the ABA champion previously. So Francis Norton, he was a jockey, little tough guy. Yeah, but I did do a lot in amateurs because I boxed for England and I boxed against America, my first England England debut, and that was against America's #1.
Wow. So you never. That's amazing. That is.
That is amazing. Yeah. That is.
And I boxed the following year. I boxed America #2. And funny enough, I'm still in touch with both of these guys. And went to the World Games, boxed in the World Games, and lost in the quarterfinals. I got short of a bronze medal where like he was on a countback, and I won a bronze medal in Romania to qualify for the Olympics for 2000. I should have really went to it, but
Wow. I never knew that.
No, see, that's a little known.
Yeah.
I'll take it all back about the amateur side of it. I didn't realise, we were thinking that your amateur career was kind of a little bit shorter, and that you kind of it was then that you kind of thought, well, I need to go professional. So that is a little known. That's amazing what you've done there.
It is.
Qualifying for the Olympics and stuff. So what made you not? So what changed then? Why did you not proceed? Go on for that? Was there a reason behind it?
I mean, I personally regret it now when I really think about it, because I think to myself, oh, I should have just waited and think. I think it's because my son was on the way, and I was thinking, how am I going to provide for him? And that was what more swayed my decision to actually turn professional.
Which would make sense as well, because it's not like the amateurs now. You think of the amateur boxers now that are at the Olympics and places, they've got really good funding and stuff in place.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Sorry to interrupt you. You see, you saying that though, that is true, because
looks like we're losing Ian again. Apologies.
Wow.
Hopefully he'll be back, because I think he's got an interesting little tale there to tell us about.
I know.
I mean, Ian may be about to tell us otherwise, but
when
they do have that kind of the funding seems. You think
You know what?
Harrison
when I won the ABAs in 97, we were of us. Like, I mean, there's quite a few guys on this page that
no, it's totally gone. Totally lost him. That's unfortunate, because I'm sure he was going to tell us. Hopefully he'll come back. Oh, he's back. Hold on.
Oh.
Hello, Ian. Sorry, mate. You cut out there. You were just we were talking about funding, and then I think your signal went.
Yeah, I just kind of realised that's why I stopped talking. Now I'm saying it's in 97 they had a meeting for all of us to come to Manchester with the ABAs, and we had Robin Reed, who was world champion at that time, and he came and he's telling us not to turn professional, or any of us to consider going to the Commonwealth Games and making the best for ourselves, and knowing that we're going to get funding, and we won't need to worry about looking after ourselves in that sense. So we were really looking forward to a lot in funding and not etc. But nothing ever came of it at the time. So people started dropping off. Everyone started going off their ways. That's why in the end, the following year, once I boxed in the World Games, I saw most fighters that were from the 96 Olympics boxing on that level. And all the top Cubans boxed on that thingy. And I thought to myself, if I can get to the quarterfinals at this level, what's left for me after this? that's what I really thought to myself. It's time to really turn professional. And my last fight was against America's #1, who I beat as well. So I just thought, I don't see why I should stay amateur.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, beating the America's #1, that's an achievement in itself. I mean, that's massive, isn't it? Especially back then, because the Americans were thought of as being the boxing capital of the world, wasn't it? You know, if there's an American fight.
Yeah, because like I boxed in the same World Games with Jeff Lacey, what's the Usyk, all that. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jeff Lacey, I still talk to him to this day and age. Yeah.
Like, you still chat with Jeff Lacey?
Yeah, no, but yeah, he messaged me now and then. Because like we was out there World Games for like 12 days and stuff like that. So like you kind of get in touch. I'm in touch with a few other boxers. Like even the Martin Powers I fought in for the British title twice. I got his number. We do contact each other now and then.
No, it's good that you do. It's good. I mean, I suppose for a lot of listeners, Jeff Lacey, I mean, for them, I suppose a lot of the reason they remember Jeff Lacey, unfortunately, is because of the fight with Kawasaki, where it didn't.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff, he still boxes the same. Most guys box the same as, like, the way they turn professional, they still box the same. Like, to me, Ricky Hatton still box the same as, because we won the ABA the same night. I remember him from the amateurs very well, because we're the same age.
Wow. Well, yeah.
So we used to go training camps, like, for England. So, like, he always had a pro style. Because the night he won the ABAs, he won it on a back count for his work rate.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal work rate when he
was
a younger guy.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, mental.
You know, Ian, I'm going to say, you know, what made you go to Bantam? You're a flyweight. You never lost one fight as a flyweight. The fight that you did lose as a flyweight was against Jason Booth for the British title. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that's right.
You lost that fight. You didn't go up to super flyweight. You jumped from super flyweight to bantamweight.
Let me cut you off there. You know, during that time, they never had super flyweight in Britain.
Oh, okay.
So he was either flyweight or bantamweight. Then he came on later on, towards the end of my career. Then, because remember, I had 4.5 years off boxing.
Yeah.
So I achieved things on the second half of my career. So I never really. I think like just being young and stupid, hanging around with the wrong people. That's why my career never turned out. It could have been really good if I knew what I knew now.
And also,
because I literally brought myself up from the age of 17 onwards.
Yeah.
So like living in the hostel, you know, and just doing what I want. Really, my discipline was out the window. So like I mainly achieve things through my talent more than anything than dedication. So if I was dedicated, I could imagine what I could have done.
Also, Ian, do you think going to bantamweight you were too small? Just in my opinion, do you think that you staying at was that better for you, or was flyweight? Do you think flyweight was better? What do you think was better? Do you think you would achieve more as the flyweights or achieve more at bantam? Because it's quite a big jump on it from flyweight to bantamweight.
I think we've lost Ian again.
Yeah. Oh dear.
No, I get what you're saying. I think the point, I mean, if Ian comes back, I mean, for me, I know the super flyweight division came in towards the end of his career, but I'm thinking if that super flyweight division had been there when he lost to Booth, maybe a bantamweight would have been too big a jump, and around at super.
Do you get me? Like, it's quite a big jump, isn't it? You know, from 8 stone.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, he's gone again.
He'll be back in a bit. Yeah, I'll be back. Here he is.
Oh, here he is.
Yeah, we're back.
He's back. Yeah, we were just saying, Ian, sorry, we're talking over you because obviously I expect you keep where your signal goes. But I think the point I was trying to make was that if I know you're saying the super flyweight division came in towards the tail end of your career, but maybe after you lost to Booth at flyweight, if that super flyweight division had been there, do you think that would have been the division that you would have gone for and kind of, would that have suited you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Superfly would have been perfect because it just came around at the wrong time for me personally. But like, it's a good thing that they've put it in play. So yeah, it was.
It's such a shame. You were such a talented fighter, and even going up to bantamweight, which I thought was a bit big for you, you beat some good guys. And Jamie McDowell, I thought you beat him. I thought you got robbed in that fight. And then he went on and he won more than one world title.
Yes. I know. It's, to be honest, I'm a person. The thing about with me, as a person in general, I'm not a person. I don't hold that. I'm a person I don't hold. I'm a very forgiving person. I easily forgive. So all those things don't really. I mean, when Jamie McDonald retired, and he lost to when he lost to the I can't remember his name, something, the Chinese guy. I messaged him, you know what I mean, and said to him, like, you know what I mean, just keep your head up. And like, obviously, after my fight, I wished him all the best. And
Yeah.
I told him to keep his head up and that, like, boxing's a sport. It's never personal with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wished him all the best, and I'm actually proud that he did win what he won, because obviously shows the caliber, my caliber as well, in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. Going just back a little bit from the McDonald fight, obviously, you did win. You won the Commonwealth title before that, didn't you? Or the British title?
The British.
No, I fought for the Commonwealth title at flyweight against Jason Booth, and he beat me. I was well inexperienced then.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm just having a look at your record now as we talk, because
that was like my 8th fight.
That was it. I was going to say to you, because that was the other thing with the weight division. That's it, because we keep losing my thought process. Yeah, I mean, obviously that weight division, it's a bit like nowadays when you think of women's boxing, a lot of the girls now, there's not the depth there for a lot of their divisions, and it was kind of similar for you, right, with your weight division, that you got thrown in. Whereas if you think of the bigger guys, they kind of have lots of building fights, don't they? Like your middleweights, your welterweights, they kind of have lots of fights to build up their knowledge and experience and to get that as they go along. But for the guys in the smaller weight divisions, like you've just said, you'd had 7 fights, then suddenly you're fighting for a title, And obviously, I'm sure you've got to embrace that.
Yeah, my first title fight was in my fifth pro fight. I fought for the Southern Era title, and I won it. It was my fifth fight.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Mark Reynolds. I fought Mark Reynolds.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but again, 5th title fight, fighting for the Southern Area title. I mean, you just don't. That's rare. Really, in the bigger divisions, you wouldn't get that.
Very rare.
10, 11, 12, 13 fights before that's even thought about for them,
Yeah. Now, one thing I must admit, like, I don't regret about my career is that I fought everyone that was around. I never ducked no one. So it is what it is. At least I gave it all I had. But my main regret is that I never dedicated myself that much.
Yeah, I mean, and if you could think back, would there be? How would you change? Was it just lifestyle, like you say, you got in with the wrong crowd?
Oh, it was a lifestyle. It was like misguidance. Like when I was the first of my family to box, so no one really had a clue what was really going on. So, and obviously, I had people telling me, but I was what's the word? I got addictive personality, where like, when people are doing good, I do good with them. If they're doing bad, I'm doing bad just like them as well. So like, it's a thing where it's like, I think the fact that I used to find boxing easy.
Yeah.
I did not have to do much to actually technically work out someone boxing.
It's amazing, because you don't matter how big a guy was, and he was only small. You remind me of like James Toney. That's what you remind me of, a miniature James Toney. Very slick.
Very, very similar.
And it didn't matter how big in height a person was. That didn't bother you. You still managed to be able to handle them. And I was amazed by that. And the fact that It didn't matter how big somebody was. That didn't seem to bother you. You know, you were skillful enough to get through it and not get it. And I was amazed by that. You know?
Oh, I think you might have frozen again off.
Oh, no.
But you're right. I mean, it's style-wise very much like James Toney. It's not
Yeah.
It stands out. I think Ian might be back. I'm not sure. I can see movement on the Zoom. I didn't realise it was his 5th fight he went for the Southern Area title. That's crazy, isn't it? When you think
crazy, but then you know what? He fought a knobby knobs fighter, Anthony Anna, very, very tough fighter.
Yeah.
And beat him. And he, you know, in his 6th fight.
Oh no, it's mental. It's mental. But it'd be interesting if Ian comes back because I want to find out, you know, what his thoughts are on the current scene, really. Oh, he's gone.
He'll be back in a bit. Here he is.
Back. Hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. Back in the room.
Oh.
He's back in the room.
We're back. You know, Anthony Hanna, like you mentioned before, he's one of the guys that educated me in how
he was one tough cookie. Whoa.
Listen, he actually taught me how to box indirectly. Because like what it is, it's the way he boxed sideways.
Did you watch him?
A lot of people box square on. I'm telling you. The way he boxed sideways, he always, every time he's the first guy to keep catching me with a left hook to my temple. I was thinking, where's this punch coming? I could never see it. Because he just used to he tap you the jab and sting you with the left hook. You know what I mean? And he had that same, as much as he done the James Toney style indirectly. Watch him properly. He does the up and down movement, head movement, and he doesn't use much energy.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You're giving him credit, and no one did. And
I learned a lot from that fight.
He's a good fighter, isn't he? Very good fighter.
He can 100% fight. I remember when he actually got a shot at the British title against Damon Kelly. Yeah. He really went for it, but obviously, Damon Kelly was a good amateur.
Yeah, he was.
Top class amateur. I lost to him, no. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Ian, he probably only had about 3 amateur fights. So Anthony Anna, he learned on the pro stage. We were from the same stable.
Oh wow! Because I remember I was talking to Nicky Booth, like after I fought Nicky Booth, and he said to me, "Don't fight Anthony Hanna. He's very tricky." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Don't fight him. He look like he's not fit, but he's very tricky." And when I actually fought him, his record is very deceiving.
Yeah, you know what it's like though. Listen, Ian, you know what? I was from the Nobby Nobs gym.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
It weren't all about the records. It was all about money. So there's a lot of guys, you know, what you'd fought as well. And me, myself, I could have won. But I just went through the motions and fight. Well, I'll fight next week. That's how that gym was made up, you know, last minute replacements. Never had a training camp, you know. I've been in the gym and train and get like an hour's notice and go and fight, that kind of thing. So we never really had no training camps.
Don't get me wrong. Boxing would not survive without fighters like you. Telling you, because like, to be honest, boxing becomes such a business that no one wants to fight each other.
They don't.
It's become more of a modeling competition.
It is. I agree.
You know what I mean, to be honest,
I do know.
I say to myself, you look at this year. I'll give you a good example where like sometimes I switch on and off boxing sometimes, but I've lost total interest in heavyweight boxing. Because, like, to me, as far as concerned, Tyson Fury and AJ should have fought at least 3 times by now.
Yeah,
100% agree with that.
It's just a lot of, it's because I'm just used to, like, because I idolize fighters. Like, my favorite heavyweight was Holyfield, Mike Tyson, and Riddick Bowe. That era, those guys fought each other. No one ducked no one.
Yeah.
Here and then, it made it happen. Ray Mercer, Tim Witherspoon, all that lot. You know what I mean? I was very honored to actually spend time with Tim Witherspoon. You know what I mean? I actually met him and, you know what I mean, Bruno. I met everyone in a sense. But it's just amazing the stories they tell you themselves when you get to speak to them and realize, you know what? I mean, when I spoke to Tim Witherspoon, he told me I used to spar Muhammad Ali when I was a teenager. Wow. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? So those are the things like we're like now, like to me, Fury, AJ, all that. They should have. To me, those fights should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's just become because the build up for it in the end just kills the actual fight itself. Because by the time you get that fight, you're so looking forward to something exceptional that it never happens.
And I guess a lot of that, I mean, we were talking about social media earlier. I mean, Tyson Fury in particular, he loves social media, doesn't he? His Twitter and his Instagram and stuff. So, and he talks up a lot of fights, but they just, you've hit the nail on the head. They seem to do a lot of talking now via social media, and they don't seem to be jumping in the ring and fighting each other. I mean, for Fury,
I mean, I know it's a lot of money, obviously, business first, and obviously the rest later. But to be honest, come on, like to me, just fight, man. What's there to you're a boxer? That's your job. Do it. I get. That's why sometimes I switch off on certain things.
Totally agree. Nobody really doing much fighting anymore. It's all about money, whereas back in the day, everyone used to fight. You have these champions, you want to see them fight and they're not fighting. It just gets frustrating so much, and you just want to see them fight. And I don't know.
Yeah. It's a funny. I mean, again, I think his signal might have gone again, but yeah, going back to Fury and AJ, I mean, it's dragged on for too long now. It should have hit the nail on the head. That should have happened a long time ago, that fight. And surely, I know, boxing business and all that, making money, but surely it should be about who's the best. I'm sure that's
it'd be nice, and it don't look like we're going to see these fights like regarding AJ and Tyson Fury. It don't look like we're going to ever see it, does it? And maybe we won't.
Frustrating. It's really frustrating.
Modeling, it's like.
He's gone again. Back. We were just saying, you hit the nail on the head with the Tyson and Fury and AJ. I mean, you'd think that they want to know who the best man is now. It's got to that point because they're both, they're not getting any younger, are they? I saw a jokey poster the other day.
It is really, to be honest, it's boring. Yeah. I just don't. When people ask me that question, I say, please talk about something else.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Tyson Fury because I used to box when I was top of the bill. I used to be on a box of my undercards.
Wow!
And I've got to actually sit down and talk to him. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And he's quite comical. I like his attitude. But obviously, I personally just think. Everyone's getting paid well. I don't see why they just don't fight.
They're not short of cash, are they? Between them,
none of them are. It's just I look back and I think to myself, to be honest, I'm glad I boxed the times I boxed.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it. I didn't feel. A fight was set and that was it. You're number one, you're number two, you're entitled for the fight, and that's it. That's it. You fight each other.
Exactly that.
There's more to say.
Yeah.
Sorry,
there's nothing like any sponsorship the way things are now. If you didn't fight, you never got no money, so there was no sponsorship things back then, was there? If I remember, Ian, you just fought. The only way
sponsorship was hard to get. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't the easiest of things to get. So to be honest, you trained hard for what you wanted. So but now everyone's become a pad fighter. Everyone does pads, etc. Look good hitting the bag for about a few seconds, and it looks like that's what you do all your life. But that's the world we're living in today.
Yeah.
For me, I just believe that's the reason why I don't watch the up-to-date fights. I go back to watching the old fights, old fighters.
Yeah.
The main guy first that really started me off in boxing in the sense of that was Bo Jack. A kid by the name of Bo Jack. He was a lightweight. He fought a guy called Ike Williams, and they had classic fights. Then I watched all different styles of fights. I watched the old fighters because I just watched the basics and the way how they boxed, even down to Willie Pep, Sandy Sadler, things like fighters like that.
Really?
Used the jab very well.
Yeah.
And had the basics very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
I watch fighters for the art of boxing. A lot of people, what it is now, it's just like everyone's looking for this stoppage all the time.
Yeah.
Looking for that big punch. They forget the basics. That's why if you really look at Floyd Mayweather done the basics so well and just had a great defense.
Yeah, that's
that's how he
attracted.
That's why he can move up anyway and pickpocket and pick them apart.
Yeah. Totally. Guy was a master.
He never fought with that much intensity compared to how he fought when he was the super featherweight.
That's right. If you look at his stoppages, they all come when he was super feather. As he got heavier, he hardly stopped no one. He just went through the motion.
He just knows how to pick you apart.
Yeah.
It's the science of boxing. Once he knows, I mean, there's only a certain amount of punches you can throw and certain number of ways you can do it. And like, not a lot of fighters could do what he done by just taking on, even though he's a YouTuber, you can't take on a guy much bigger than you like that and be able to stand there with him.
No.
I was going to say, he's still doing it now, isn't he, with the young guys, these YouTubers? He's still schooling them, isn't he, at the end of the day? And like you say, there was a massive difference there between those two, wasn't there? You know?
To me, that was a bit of a risk, taking on that huge guy.
Of course, it's a risk, but what it is that the fact that he can see what's coming and the fact that he's mastered the art of defense, he'll never get caught unless it was that lucky shot. Yeah. But you know, when that bit of fear, you have that bit of fear, it always gives you that third eye, that second, that sort of alertness that you in your heart, you think, you know what, I ain't letting this guy hit me one more time. It's like when I sparred with Carl Frampton, he hit me with a left hook and it shook me. And I was like, you know what? You never hit me again. And that was it. You never touched me again with a left hook again. I remember Barry was calling me that, we need more sparring like that. We need more sparring like that. And I was like,
we're losing Ian again. Was he back? Oh no, look like you're back. You still there, Ian? No, I think we've lost him again. Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it? Because we're getting so good.
It's a shame.
I didn't realise you could spar with Carl Frampton. This is what I mean. That's why these interviews are so good, because we get to hear all these wonderful stories.
Yeah, it's right. It's right.
People aren't aware of, you know.
I know, it's right. You know, I had no idea.
Stuck that actually how we stopped all my strength from my team. Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
I can hear everything.
We lost you again for a minute there, buddy. I think your signal was gone. I think you might have gone again. Yeah, we've lost him again at the minute.
Okay, now idea what? If you can see me.
You're back. We can see you. You're back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we were just saying it's so nice to get ex-fighters like yourself on, because all these stories you do, like the Spar and the Carl Frampton, all these little stories, just stuff we're not aware of it, and it's so nice to hear. Do you? I mean, obviously you retired. How long is it since you've been retired? 10 years, is it? 9 years? 10 years?
11 years.
11 years. 11 years. It's been 16. I mean, time flies, doesn't it?
Flies.
What was your toughest fight in your career personally?
I fought for the European title. I fought this guy named Simone Maladruti. He went. He fought Rendell Monroe, and Rendell Monroe just about beat him.
Rendell Monroe, there's a standout one from the.
He moved up a weight. He was a big bantamweight, and he fought that same kid that stopped not Jimmy McDonald. Yeah, he did actually. He fought there was a Japanese kid that was stopping everyone at one stage. I can't remember his name, and then Rendell Monroe fought him for the world title.
Let me have a look. Oh, was that? Oh, well, I can see his face. Let me have a look.
Oh,
very good. Those things, isn't it?
Very tough kid.
He gave him a good fight. How Rendell did. Rendell was at his best then, wasn't he? He gave him a good fight.
Yeah. It's just that he was something else.
I can't find the fight, and that's a shame. But I know who you mean. I do know who you mean. I'm sure.
I can see his face, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's always the same, isn't it? But yeah, so sorry, I interrupted you. So we were talking about that. So that was your toughest fight, you say?
Simone Maladruti, he was just physically strong. Like Not that he wasn't technically brilliant because I was able to like still do the 12 rounds with him, but it's just his intensity was phenomenal.
Sorry, ignore me. I'm still trying to find this this fighter that we're talking about because it's going to
Henry.
me now if I don't find it. Jamie McDonald. Let's put him in.
Now I think he fought Rendon Monroe.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Rendell Monroe. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, he fought Rendon Monroe.
So you were saying, sorry, he was
Monroe. He fought Rendon Monroe for the European title.
Yeah,
he fought Rendon Monroe for the European title.
and he was obviously a big guy compared to you. By the
He was a big guy. He was even bigger at super bantamweight.
Wow. And this touches on your point earlier about Ian fighting people that were just a lot bigger, and and sometimes out of 10 doing a number on them, He's got his head down. He's having a look. Let's see who gets there first half.
he's got a bug me, so I'm trying.
I can't find it. Oh, sweet. I found Kiko Martinez. Hold on. Who definitely isn't.
Kiko Martinez. Jason B fought him for the WBC title.
He got stopped, didn't he, Jason? He got stopped. Maybe Jason was a little past his best, you think?
Jason Beef never got stopped. He lost on points.
Oh, is it Tosh? I can't even pronounce it. Tosh Iki. Oh.
Yeah. That's the guy.
Nishoka or something. That was for the Rendell fought him for the WBC Super Bantamweight title.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. And it wasn't the name I was thinking of, actually. It wasn't.
Do
you know what I was thinking of? Is it Injin Chi or something? Is that the guy?
That was Michael Brody.
That was Michael Brody.
Oh, that was Michael Brody.
Because he was a tough guy.
Brody was one of my favourite British super bantamweight. It was a super bantamweight when he used to defend the European title quite a lot.
Yeah. He was.
And he was with Barry Hearn.
That's it.
I used to watch loads of his fights. You know what I mean? I remember when he knocked out Neil Swain. Oh my God, that was one of the dramatic knockouts.
Yeah,
the last round. Yeah, I was watching that. I used to follow Michael Brody a lot. I remember I sent him a message to say, "Oh man, I used to follow you all the time."
Well, he was a hell of a fighter, though, isn't he?
Nah, he can fight. When he fought Injin Chi, I was so disappointed that they never gave him the decision.
Yeah. Well, you get a lot of that in boxing, don't you? Unfortunately, I'm sure you guys have been on the end of some decision. I mean, I was touched on it earlier with a couple of your fights.
No, he was a tough guy, though. He was a very tough guy.
Yeah.
Have you still got your? I'm gonna ask you. You still got your beautiful Lonsdale belt? They seem very hard to get these days. They're not letting people defend them. And I just
I just don't keep that belt in the house. I don't keep the belt in my house. I keep it at my dad's.
Oh, I don't blame you.
My European belt, all my.
I always seem to have lost me. We'll wait until he comes back. But yeah, Injin Chi, he was a nut.
Yeah.
Hell of a fighter. Maybe nutcase is the wrong word, but he was a hell of a fighter.
He was. He sure was.
I don't think that. Didn't he fight the Mexican? He fought. My brain's just died. Who was the Mexican? He had the walls with, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
You're back, Ian. Sorry, we lost you there again a minute, mate. I think your signal went again. Morales, that's who I'm trying to think of. But
Morales.
Age is a pain in the bum, isn't it?
That could easily go missing.
Oh, he's gone again. I think you can hear us, but we can't hear. Oh, he's
back.
Get in.
Back.
You were saying about your belts. You keep them at your dad's.
Yeah, no, I once upon a time they was at my mom's. Now they're at my dad's. So
Just
they could look after the best they can.
Yeah.
That's the best.
What people don't realise is, and it's so hard to win a British title now. When you had a British title, a draw would be a notch on it. It's not anymore. You have to win it once and win it directly 3 times after. I mean, sometimes they'll even give somebody a tough fight who's got it. I've known someone to fight for a British title against a world-class person, lose, and then that world-class person give the British title up. So to me, they're making it harder for people to win them. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be how it was before: one win and two, win it once and defend it twice. Not anymore. It's win it once, defend it 3 times after, and there's no draw notch on it either. So they don't want nobody to win it. It seems.
It's because the board think they're smart. All that is just financial reasons, isn't it? They just want to hold on to they want to hold on to your money, innit? To the money, because obviously every time they lose that belt, they've got to get another one done, innit?
Yeah. And it's cost, isn't it? It's
financial.
Very cost.
Financial.
Yeah.
Well, guys, sorry, go on, Ian. You were going to say, Matt, interrupt.
Yeah. No. That's to me. That's the main reason. Half the time, when you're about to win the belt outright, sometimes the decisions are a bit dodgy.
Yeah, don't they just? Yeah, there's a few of them around. But yeah, it won't be long, Haven't they withdrawn the British title for some of the weight divisions? The lower weight divisions are. I think I read something the other day where they were saying they were going to withdraw the British title for. I think
they have to. You're right saying that, because they have.
Wasn't it the flyweights?
Yeah, they've withdrawn it from that because a friend of mine fought for the Commonwealth, and you know what? He didn't get the Commonwealth because they've withdrawn the Commonwealth. He was meant to get it. To realise after that they've withdrawn the Commonwealth as well.
Yeah, so that's criminal. Yeah. It's criminal. Withdrawal.
What we're saying? What they can't? They're not letting you keep the belts.
They've just withdrawn it. There is no British title anymore.
There's no British title at a certain weight, anymore, or Commonwealth.
Yeah, they've just taken the belts away now.
They took them away.
There's not enough competitors.
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is.
I mean, I don't know how true this is. I heard Charlie Magri, when he won the British title, there wasn't no one to fight for it, so they just give it him at the time. Is that right? I heard this.
No, Charlie Magri, because he used to train me at one stage. Charlie Magri won the British title in his third pro fight.
Yeah, but he didn't have to. What happened? He just got to keep it, did he, Ian?
In those days, you didn't have to defend it to keep it.
Yeah, I think you just won it back then.
In those days, isn't it?
It was yours to keep then.
You remember Henry Cooper had 3 of them.
That's right. You can't do that anymore.
Obviously, they just financially they just thought about that and thought, you know what, this is where it ends.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost. There was a few. I think all that came around during. They lost a few cases. They had the Michael Watson thing, the Jane Couch thing, and I think it cost them a few quid, didn't it? So I think after that they sort of thought, like Ian touched on there. I think they've sort of said, so this is costing us a lot of money.
Yeah, it cost them because I think it costs about 12 grand to get one made.
Yeah, I would imagine they made me.
Yeah, I'll tell you where they are. The jewelry quarter. That's where they make them. Did you know that, Ian?
Where's that?
Jewelry quarter,
in
Birmingham.
Central London.
Birmingham.
Oh right, no.
That's where they make them. I got the footage. I'll send it you after. I'll send you a video. It's made in the jewelry quarter in Birmingham. Fatan, it's called.
You know what? Find out how much it costs to make one of those, because a few guys they've won the belt. No, they've won belts once and defended it and lost it, but they still would like to have a belt to keep. In that sense, you get what I mean?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, you guys are putting your bloody lives on the line. Getting in that ring each and every time. So even if it's 1,200 quid, 12 grand, whatever it costs to get these belts made, if they're, if you're fighting for them and you win it, you should be able to bloody keep it,
We have to keep it, period.
Yeah, period. Like you say, at the end of the, people are putting their lives on the line, getting in that boxing ring to do what you do. And I know it's choice, but also...
Yeah, but it's like you winning the FA Cup and they don't give you a medal.
Exactly that. Spot on. That's the best way of putting it, actually. Yeah. For in the Premier League, the FA Cup, they get something out of it, don't they? They don't go, yeah, there you go, we're going to take that back now. Actually, you've got to win that. You've got to win the FA Cup next year and next season, then we might let you keep it. You know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't work like that, does it? So.
Ian and Lakey, there's a fellow by me, Robert Norton. He was a cruiserweight. He had 3 hard fights, and the last fight was an easy fight, and he got robbed. They didn't give him he lost the fight and they took the belt back.
Disgusting. Bad. Really bad form, that. Really bad form. But anyway, guys, just quickly before we go in, because I know we've been going for nearly an hour and I know time is precious. Are you still involved in boxing, or what are you up to these days? What's Ian Napa up to now after your boxing career? And I think we've lost him again. Just on the be right. I'll give him a second, see if he comes back.
He'll come back. Yeah. I got a fighter.
Yeah,
Good fighter.
Absolutely fantastic. Be nice just to see what he's up to now before
Yeah.
we end.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Oh, I see him. Here he comes. He's back. He's back.
We're back again.
We were just saying, Ian, you know, obviously, Ty, we've been talking nearly an hour. It was just a case of, you know, what are you up now? Your boxing career, obviously, your boxing career ended 11 years ago. Are you still involved in boxing? Or
Yeah, I'm involved in boxing quite a bit. Of lately, I've really kind of like started stepping it up. I mean, because of the COVID, I started doing personal training, and I mean, I do security as well for events. But the fact that all that had kind of crashed out for a long time, I said to myself, you know what? Let me pick up. I just got my pads and started doing that and just going around training people in the back gardens, in the parks, and ever since, and it's been like that. And it's just gone from strength to strength.
awesome, because obviously, a bit like I tell Arv off all the time. You know, you had 100 fights. You know, you've won British titles, European titles. I mean, you've got so much knowledge between. You know, you guys have got so much knowledge that you can share with the younger generation. Even so much as not even just that boxing knowledge. It's life skill. You know, you can talk about. You know, Arv. I'm sure he won't mind me saying there were times, you know, back in the early end of his career when he wished he'd done things differently, and that maybe the management side of it could have been a bit better for him or whatever, you know, but he was young, just wanted to fight, you know. So you guys have got that kind of knowledge that you can pass on to these young fighters coming through, and maybe mentors, you know. Yeah,
now being a mentor is, you might say I do that because I actually volunteer myself. I do without even thinking about it, really. Because I actually train the kids in a gym with James Cook.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely guy.
Yeah, I do Mondays and Wednesdays there, and I actually talk to them about, you know, their attitude to boxing is the way the way their attitude to boxing is the same way they should take the same attitude to life.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I mean, I don't try and be overpowering in that sense, but I'm quite hard when it comes to actually training hard and dedicating yourself.
Yeah.
So in that sense, when they take up the same attitude, I always tell them that you will take up the same attitude to the hardship in life as well. You be able to dig yourself deep and dig yourself out of it if you can achieve whatever you achieve in boxing. Because what I find with boxers, if you look at the way boxers fight, is how they live their life as well. You look at Tyson, he used to fight reckless. He actually lived life reckless.
Yeah.
You look at Mayweather, cute thinker. He might have an attitude, but he knows what's good for him. That's why he trains the way he trains. Muhammad Ali, he talks a lot, pretty boy. But what he does, he trains hard because he's got to back what he talks. Because he believes in himself. So how you fight, how most people box and fight or whatever is how they live their lives.
It's true that.
Yeah, that's a spot on assessment, to be honest with you. Well, Ian, all we can do is say thank you very much for coming on to the Spartans today. And thank
Absolutely you enjoyed it.
Because hopefully some youngsters out there will listen to that and think, that's inspirational. So thank you very much for joining us, Ian. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Ian.
Apologies
I appreciate that. Thank you both. Yeah.
It's been an absolute honour having you on the Spartan show, and we wish you well, sir. Wish you well with whatever comes next for you.
Yeah, at least now I've done a Zoom meeting now. Now, if anyone wants a Zoom meeting, I know what I'm doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant,
A couple of the guys from the other group last time they said they were in a meeting, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I thought, oh my god,
you know how to do it now.
Now I definitely know what I'm doing. Anytime I'm available, just give me notice and that's it. It's not a problem.
Oh, we'll definitely get you back on, sir. It'd be good to get you back on some of our other shows that we do. It'd be great to get your opinion on what's going on in the boxing world.
I want to stay positive, man. If you ever knew the way boxing affected me straight after I left my boxing career, you'd be shocked if you heard this. That would be another interview another day.
Yeah, fantastic. Love to hear it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much. And we're listening to the Spartans, and we'll catch up again soon, Ian. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Cheers.